On an old bus rattling through quiet streets, a sturdy, elderly black man sat silently in the back row. His calloused hands gripped a worn wooden cane, and his calm eyes gazed out the window. This was Rocky, 68 years old, a solitary figure in the world. Suddenly, a group of rowdy white youths clambered aboard, scanning the bus before setting their sights on the back row. They marched straight toward Rocky. "Hey, old man," the leader sneered. "Get up! This seat isn't meant for dirty black folks like you. You're messing it up!" Rocky remained composed, not responding. Annoyed, one of the boys grabbed his shoulder, squeezing hard. "Are you deaf? I said, get up!" Still, Rocky didn't move. As their boldness grew, one of them launched a punch aimed at Rocky's face, but before the blow could land, Rocky's weathered hand shot up with surprising speed, blocking the attack. In mere seconds, the elderly man dismantled the group with sharp, precise strikes, leaving them sprawled on the floor of the bus. One youth, barely managing to lift his head, stammered, "Who are you to fight us?" Rocky smirked, tapping his cane on the floor with quiet authority. "When I was fighting in Vietnam, I doubt your parents were even born." The bus fell silent, passengers staring at Rocky in awe, respect replacing the disdain in their eyes. A man in a sharp suit around 45 rose from his seat and approached Rocky. "You're a Vietnam veteran," he said, extending a hand. "I'm Kyler, director of a company specializing in training soldiers and bodyguards. We need skilled trainers like you. Would you be interested?" Rocky blinked, surprised by the unexpected job offer at his age. After a moment's thought, he nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. Life, it seemed, had a way of offering second chances. The next day, Rocky began his new job at Kyler's company. Nestled in a remote area, the sprawling campus boasted vast training grounds, modern gyms, and well-maintained barracks. Rocky had heard of this place before, renowned for producing some of the finest soldiers and bodyguards. As he surveyed the facility, he hoped this would mark the start of a better life after all he had endured. Rocky met his new colleagues, most of whom were also black men, skilled fighters, former veterans, or laborers with sharp reflexes and expertise. Each day, they trained in martial arts, participated in physical tests, and shared hearty meals. Soon, they began teaching new recruits, officially stepping into their roles as instructors. The air was thick with promise, a sense of brighter days ahead. But instead of growing stronger, Rocky and the other black trainers began to feel the opposite. Their bodies weakened, their frames grew gaunt, their hair thinned, and their health steadily declined. Fear spread among them as they wondered if they were suffering from some mysterious illness. Kyler quickly arranged health checks, attributing their condition to temporary physical changes from adapting to the new environment. The company even provided supplements, encouraging everyone to take them for a speedy recovery. Reassured, the trainers diligently followed the regimen, hoping for improvement. Yet Rocky's instincts told him that something was amiss. The so-called supplements didn't restore their strength. In fact, their condition worsened. Suspecting foul play, Rocky secretly stopped taking the pills while pretending otherwise. As night blanketed the facility, he lay still in his bunk, fighting sleep. His body felt less fatigued since he had stopped taking the pills, and tonight, his instincts whispered that something unusual would happen. Sure enough, a shadowy figure in a lab coat crept into the room, followed one by others carrying syringes and strange medical tools. Rocky remained motionless, observing from behind closed eyelids. He felt the prick of needles on his arm as they drew blood and plucked strands of his hair. It all made sense now, why everyone's hair was thinning and never found scattered about. Once the intruders left, Rocky slipped silently from his bed to track them. They led him to a hidden laboratory within the company grounds. Peering through a crack in the door, Rocky's eyes widened at the advanced equipment and rows of mysterious vials lining the shelves. From within, he overheard their conversation. The apparent leader praised their work, saying, "The genetic samples we've harvested from these healthy recruits are phenomenal, especially from that Vietnam vet. His calmness and fearlessness are precisely what we need." A subordinate hesitated, saying, "Sir, the subjects we're harvesting from are deteriorating quickly. What do we do with them?" The leader sneered, Don't worry, these black folks are no better than livestock. They're just experimental material. When they die, we dispose of them. The priority is extracting enough superior genetic traits to meet our production goals. The boss needs a large supply of superhuman soldiers soon. Another voice chimed in with flattery. Your method of creating injectable enhancers from harvest genes is ingenious, sir. We've already begun synthesizing serums from their superior physical traits to inject into our graduating trainees. They'll be unstoppable. Rocky could hardly bear to hear more as the horrifying reality unfolded. The facility wasn't training soldiers in the conventional sense. Instead, it was draining the vitality of men like him, turning their strength into raw material for experiments and discarding them when they were no longer useful. For a moment, Rocky stood frozen, overwhelmed by the sheer scope of what he had uncovered. But deep down, one thing was clear. He couldn't let this continue. Rocky hurried through the dim corridors, his focus sharp. He had to escape the lab and save the captives. A faint clang echoed as his shoulder brushed the wall. The alarm blared, and instantly guards stormed in, weapons raised. Their movements were crisp and disciplined. The scientists in lab coats froze, stunned at the sight of him. One gasped, "Isn't that the Vietnam vet? How's he still standing after our serum?" "Enough talk," the security captain barked. "Get him now!" The guards charged, but Rocky moved like a shadow. Years of battlefield instincts ignited within him. He disarmed one guard with a swift blow, taking his gun. He didn't aim for them, though. Instead, his target was clear, the sleek machines lining the lab walls. Gunfire erupted, shattering glass and sparking chaos. Flames licked the air as equipment exploded, the heat forcing everyone back. Panic seized the scientists as they fled, abandoning their work. The guards fought to contain the fire, but it grew relentless, forcing their retreat. Seizing the moment, Rocky sprinted to the dormitories, shaking his colleagues awake and yelling over the roar of the inferno. The fire alarms wailed, and soon the flashing lights of fire trucks and police cruisers lit up the night. When authorities entered the scorched lab, they uncovered more than just flames, a network of cutting-edge equipment and vials brimming with genetically altered compounds. The truth unraveled swiftly. Investigations revealed the lab's dark secret. Trainees weren't excelling through hard work. They had been injected with genes harvested from soldiers like Rocky. Public outrage exploded as the story broke, a horrifying tale of inhuman experiments. Most of the culprits were caught in the aftermath of the fire, facing long prison sentences for their crimes. Only the mastermind, Director Kyler, eluded capture until police apprehended him at a private airport, desperate to flee abroad. Rocky emerged as a hero, with his bravery celebrated far and wide. At the ceremony held in his honor, he stood silently under the crowd's admiration, his heart heavy with one wish, that no one else would ever suffer under such cruelty again. The dignity and will of humanity cannot be crushed, no matter how dark the scheme.